Hello, 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 and welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on the planet. Come on in and get a seat. Happy Tuesday. My name is Anthony Carter. I'm the host, producer, creative genius, mad, and brilliant mind behind a movement entitled Plant Powered Brothers. Plant Powered Brothers is a movement I created that helps Black men 40 to 60 escape the silent fear of strokes, pills, and lost manhood and reclaim their health, confidence, and leadership in the home through real food, real community, and real change. Now, let me say that one more time, once again, like I do every Tuesday for who the cheap seats where in the back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. Hello and welcome. Happy Tuesday to you and yours. My name is Anthony Carter. I am the host, producer, creative genius, madman, and brilliant mind behind a movement entitled Plant Powered Brothers. Plant Powered Brothers is a movement I created that helps Black men 40 to 60 escape the silent fear of strokes, pills, and lost manhood and reclaim their health, confidence, and leadership at home through real food, real community, and real change. Now, let's hop right in. I've got some great stuff for you tonight. Now, the title of my talk this evening is going to be a little heavy. The title of my talk is No More Waiting. So, a three-word title, I think is very pivotal. I think it is very much in tune with where we are on the planet right now and with all the things that are going on. I think this is an incredible time to be alive. There are some incredible changes that are underfoot. There are some incredible changes that are happening, good, bad, or indifferent. I think people globally are waking up, which is a great thing. So, this is why I am talking about no more waiting. That is the title of tonight's talk. Now, this title came about because I was reading about James Baldwin very recently, reading an article or a post or something about his interaction in the 60s, in particular 1963. Now, this is very pivotal because I know I have been a huge James Baldwin follower, James Baldwin head, whatever they call him these days, for a number of years. When I discovered him at 23, I thought I had died and gone to heaven, right? I was 23. I knew who he was, but I wasn't really that familiar with him. Started reading his stuff right out of college, started reading his books, his essays. I wish. I think I've read everything he's written with the exception of one piece of literature. So I'm a huge James Baldwin fan. And sometimes we can forget how wonderful our heroes are. Sometimes we can be so comfortable with who they are and the impact they've had on our lives that we forget the bravery and the courage that it took for them to be who they were. The reason I'm saying that is because James Baldwin was an out, gay, proud black man in the 50s and 60s when that was just unheard of. I mean, people are kind of freaked out about it now, but imagine this being 60 years ago. So that's a little backstory on why I love and worship this man and have for a number of years. I digress. I was reading an essay or, like I said, a blog post about him recently. And he is probably the bravest truth teller this country has ever seen or known. He's one of the bravest truth tellers this country has ever produced, right? Talk about speaking truth to power. And I have a whole thing about that. I don't like that term, but he did speak truth to power way back in the 50s, way back in the 60s, right? Before any of us even knew what that concept meant. Now, I was reading this article, and apparently it took place in 1963. And in 1963, excuse me, he was at the White House and he was invited to the White House. I think it was the same time that the wonderful Eartha Kitt was invited, but I'm not sure. It may have been a little later. But in 1963, he was invited to the White House and he had an opportunity to speak with Robert F. Kennedy. Now, Kennedy comes into the room. He's smiling, being charming, being charismatic, like they were, like the Kennedy clan was then. And, thinking, we're making some progress with this whole civil rights movement and the way we treat certain citizens in the country, right? Referring to black folks. And Baldwin looked him right in the eye, didn't flinch, didn't back down, and said this: "You don't understand. You're asking the oppressed to wait, but we're dying while you're deciding when it's convenient to care." Let me say that again. I may have to say that a couple of times because I saw that and that shook me to the core. Baldwin looks at Robert F. Kennedy in the face to face. They're having a conversation. I'm assuming there's people around, and he says, "You don't understand. You're asking the oppressed to wait, but we're dying while you're deciding when it's convenient for you to care." I don't know about you folks, but when I saw that, I almost fell out of my chair because I don't remember reading that before. And that's a very, very powerful statement. I read that and I immediately thought, ouch. Brother Baldwin, once again, is not playing. He's not playing games. He's not for the foolishness. And I started thinking, here we are 60 years later, and many of us are still waiting. Many of us are still trying to figure out how to conveniently get healthy, how to conveniently take our lives back, right? We're waiting to change our diets when it's convenient. We're waiting to do one of the things that I absolutely hate the most on the planet, and I can say that with passion because I feel the way about this. We are waiting to get permission to care for ourselves. I have a big thing about waiting for permission. I didn't like it at 5, 6, and 7 years old. I don't like it at 57. Waiting for permission is the quickest way to die. Waiting for permission is the quickest way to get to check out, to be dismissed, to be diminished. Waiting for permission. Many of us are still waiting for permission to take care of ourselves, to make ourselves and our health a priority. Now, this is something I've been thinking about because I was talking to my mom recently and some other people, and I could not figure out for the life of me why more men are not joining this movement. Now, I am interested in them joining the movement, not because I just want them to join the movement. I'm trying to figure out for the life of me if what we're doing is creating a community that's going to save lives, that's going to extend lives, that's going to make sure that you, black man in the 40 to 60 age range, are going to be around to see not only your kids and your grandkids, but your great grandkids grow up and get married. I could not figure out for the life of me why. I still can't figure out why there aren't more people joining this movement. Why aren't there people beating down my door saying, "Yes, let's do this. Yes, let's go. Yes, this is important. Yes, this matters. Yes, I matter." I could not figure that out. Right now, one of the things I realized is that until, we can quote Malcolm, we can quote Martin, we can quote Baldwin like I just did, we can quote all the greats. We used to have a friend in Detroit who ended every sentence, every you know, prophetic stance, everything that he said that he wanted it to be brilliant. He would always couch it in, well, I'm not Malcolm, Martin, or Marcus, right? That was the big three. He wasn't one of these three. So that was a running joke for us many years ago. However, we can quote as many people as we want. That doesn't mean anything, right? That doesn't change anything. And until we get brave enough to change what's on our plate, what we put on our plate, until we get brave enough to look at what we feed our minds, why we feed our minds certain things, and why we continue to let other people feed our minds and put things on our plate, until we do that, nothing is going to change. Nothing at all is going to change. It is the same game, it is the same foolishness that we were offered back in 63. Just wait. It's not quite time. Be patient. Change takes time. Well, it's time out for all of that, right? People are dying. If I see another black man who's my age or younger kick the bucket, I don't know what I'm going to do. Particularly kicking the bucket from something that is preventable. right? We don't have to go out because of diabetes. We don't have to go out because of hypertension. We don't have to go out because of heart disease. There are all these things that are taking us out that we can combat. We don't know. None of us know when our card is gonna be pulled, or when we're gonna wrap things up and become worm food and get put in that pine box, right? Nobody knows it, but we might as well live well. And we need to stop allowing other people make the decision about what that looks like and what we can be and what we can have. It is time out for that. I am as passionate about that now in 2025 as James Arthur Baldwin, was as passionate about the talk he had in 1963. What is going on? We are 60 plus years into the game, 60 plus years after he had that confrontation, and we're still waiting. What are we waiting for? It's time out to stop the waiting. Now, this is what I did when I got tired of waiting. When my blood pressure was through the roof, when I was constantly sick, and everybody told me that it was because I was black and because I was male and because I was in my 50s. When I got tired of that, I had to change my plate. I had to change what I was feeding my mind. I had to get around people who said, no, we're not going to do it that way. That's not an option. We're not doing that. We may not know what we're going to do, but this foolishness, we don't want any parts of, right? I had to make that change. When I made that change and started feeling better and started thinking better and started thinking more clearly, I decided, well, I want to share this with people, right? I couldn't figure out, does everybody know this? Is everybody privy to this? Am I late to the party? And what I found is that there's some people who did know, right? There are many of us who do not know. There are many of us who are still waiting for permission. So I'm here to tell you it's time for you to give yourself permission. This is why I created Plant Powered Brothers. I created it not to just give myself something else to do. I created it because I want a community of us who give ourselves and one another permission to be great. I wanted a community of us who gives ourselves permission to take care of one another. As I wrap up every week, I always say, take care of your loved ones, let your loved ones take care of you. You cannot take care of other people if you're slumped over and sickly, can't see straight, can't sleep at night, can't have walk. That doesn't work. It's very hard to be in this battle and be a sick soldier, right? Mr. Alton Weeks told me that. I heard him say that once in a talk, in a keynote. He has a wonderful juice company in Harlem, Selful Organics. Get yourself some juice with Mr. Alton Weeks. But he said that to me. He said that in a keynote once, and I never forgot it. That you can't be a sick soldier. How are you going to be in the battle? How are you going to support other people to battle through what they have to battle if you're sick, if you're sickly, right? So we don't want that. Now, that's why I created Plant Powered Brothers. Now, in order to do that, in order to participate in Plant Powered Brothers, in order for me to launch it, in order for me to keep going, there are some things you're going to need. Let's start with the big one, right? The big thing that I know everybody's going to need. I've talked about it ad nauseum on this station, on this platform. The big C word, courage. You're going to need some courage. It's going to require courage to do something different. It's going to require courage to say, I'm through poisoning my body. It's going to require some courage to have some uncomfortable conversations with your primary physician and say, no, we're not doing that. It's going to take some courage to say, when they offer you yet another pill, no, thank you, not interested in that. I personally know people who are on 3 and 4 and 5 medications just for hypertension. What is going on here, people? It's going to take some courage to talk to your doctor and say, I know I'm on 4 medications. Let's talk about getting off all 4. Let's attack one at a time. What would that take? What do I need to do? It's going to require some courage. It's going to require some courage to give yourself permission to say, I don't know. It's going to require some courage to come into a community, face somebody head on and say, I'm having trouble giving up the fried chicken. All right, come on in. Let's do this together, right? It's going to require courage. It's going to require courage. It's going to require courage. I cannot say that enough. Now, what I would like to do is to lovingly invite you to join me in this battle, in this quest, if you will. Because in my opinion, it is time. Time is up for the foolishness. In my opinion, time is up for the not knowing. In my opinion, time is up for waiting for someone who is giving you poison, who is giving you all kinds of things that aren't good for you to finally see the light. That's probably not going to happen. In my opinion, it's time, the time is up. I'm so excited, I can barely get it out. In my opinion, the time is up for all of these types of things. And what I would like to do, instead of calling you out for what's going on, I want to call you in. Call you in with love, call you in with appreciation, call you in with the utmost respect. I understand things are difficult. I understand that many of us have been trained to eat a certain way, to eat a certain thing, to think a certain thing, to think that, oh, this is just the way that it is. I'm calling you in with love. I'm calling you in with appreciation. I'm calling you in with much mad respect around, yes, you can do this. Yes, it's your right to be healthy. Yes, it is odd and strange to be unhealthy. Yes, it is unnatural to be sickly all the time. There is a different way of doing things, there is a different way of being. Please join me. Let's do this together. There should be, I want tons of us getting healthy. You'd be surprised at what you can create when you are healthy and your mind works. Right? I'm surprised at all the things that I've had in my head for years. Once I began to successfully combat hypertension, once I gave up the sugar and salt and oil for an extended period of time, once I began to move on a regular basis, once I began to drink water on a consistent basis, once I began to connect with an accountability partner on a daily basis, I was surprised at not only the things that I came up with. I was surprised at not only the dreams I used to have that were deferred, that I dusted off and got to work on. I was surprised at how quickly I was able to move through things, right? As an example, since August of this year, I have done two movies. Actually, I'm on my third movie. I'm doing a fourth movie next month in November. I couldn't have done this 5 or 6 years ago. It would have been too much for me to try to manage and go to work and be in a relationship and do all the things that I have to do and have all the responsibilities that I have. The responsibilities haven't changed. Still married, still got responsibilities, still have a household I have to contribute to. That hasn't changed. What has changed is my ability to dream and to go after the things that come up to me in my dreams. The things that knock me on the head and say, okay, it's time. I'm coming to you. I need you to put this out. I need you to produce this. I need you to share this with the planet. I'm able to act on that because of the clarity of thought that comes from being healthy and combating hypertension and having gotten rid of my hypertension. As I've said many times, my blood pressure has gone from 145 over 95 to the last time I checked, it was 106 over 79. That's a 30 point drop, right? No medication here. Now, it took some time to get there, but I did it because I made it that important. It was that important to me and my loved ones. So I'm going to wrap up here. This is what you can do. Here is your challenge, your call to action, so to speak. The next step on your journey in the quest. Click on the link and spend some time with me, 30 minutes, where we can come up with a strategy for getting you healthy. Share the link with a loved one. Share the link with a brother or uncle, a father, whoever needs it. Tag a young brother, tag an older guy who might benefit from this information. Be sure to share it far and wide. I'm so excited I can barely speak. I don't know if you can tell that, but share it wide, and join the movement. Come join the Plant Powered Brothers movement. We're on YouTube. There's almost 100 videos on my YouTube channel, Plant Powered Brothers. And you can go, it takes you back 2 or 3 years. There's shorts, there's long forms, there's all types of ways to get involved. All right. So, my friends, know that you're loved, know that you're seen, know that you are heard, and I appreciate you. I'm going to get out of here now. Take care of yourself. Like I said earlier, take care of your loved ones. Allow your loved ones to take care of you. Get some plants on that plate. Stay away from that deep fried foolishness. And above all, eat like you got some sense. My name is Anthony Carter. I'm the host, producer, creative genius, madman, and brilliant mind behind a movement entitled Plant Powered Brothers. Plant Powered Brothers is a movement that I created that helps Black men 40 to 60 escape the silent fear of strokes, pills, and lost manhood and reclaim their health, confidence, and leadership at home through real food, real community, and real change. Let me say that once again, like I do every Tuesday, for the cheap seats in the back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. My name is Anthony Carter. I'm the host, producer, creative genius, madman, and brilliant mind behind a movement entitled Plant Powered Brothers. Plant Powered Brothers is a movement I created that helps Black men 40 to 60 escape the silent fear of strokes, pills, and lost manhood and reclaim their health, confidence, and leadership at home through real food, real community, and real change. Take care of yourself and take care of your loved ones. I will see you soon. Bye now.